guys, it's me, Mrs. Victoria. So I was thinking that in addition to your daily lesson plans, it would be cool to read The Mighty Odds again, but in a different format. I will read you guys a chapter every day, and this could sort of turn into like a virtual book club. If you guys hear anything that sticks in your brain, or you guys have a question about something, or if you heard a word that you're not quite sure of, why don't you guys send me an email and we can talk about it? And I can share it in the following day's lesson plan email. So since it's been a while, I thought it'd be great to start from the beginning. So here we go. The Mule. 4 students taken to Müllersville Memorial after bus crashes. So this is, remember, it's the newspaper article. A school district bus returning to Müllersville from a day-long trip to Philadelphia skidded and overturned on Old Twin County Road last night, district officials said. 4 middle school students and a trip chaperone were taken to the hospital with minor injuries, but the bus driver fled the scene and has yet to be found. Police are investigating. The Daily What? I love this. The Daily What? Here's a weird news item. A bus flips over, a bunch of kids are taken to the hospital, and the driver disappears? In the middle of nowhere? How is that possible? Was he picked up? And if so, was the whole thing planned? Certainly someone would have noticed a soaking wet, possibly injured man running away from the scene of a crime. And yes, I call it a crime because vehicular manslaughter is a crime. Sure, the guy didn't kill anyone, so it's technically not manslaughter, but it could very well have been. So it's vehicular kid hurting. Any of my readers out there with a law degree want to weigh in on this one? The problem with people today is that no one asks questions anymore. And we've all just become complacent sheep who think, oh, the bus crashed and the driver disappeared. Well, at least the kids have only minor injuries. So it's all going to be okay. Well, sheeple, it's not going to be okay. Who's to say the mystery driver won't show up driving someone else's bus? Your bus. Keep asking questions. The Hammer. And then here's the little comic strip. Martina is going to Philadelphia today on a field trip. She's going to hear about U.S. history. Isn't that interesting? Papa, isn't that interesting? Martina, aren't you excited? She's so excited. I don't think I paid that much attention to this page when we first started reading this. I'm going to have to sort of flag this because I think it's important. And do you guys want to say hi to my 6th grader?
No.
Come on, Ellie, pop in real quick. Say hi. Oh, no, not a shoe. Okay, maybe she'll come out in one of these episodes. There she is. Okay.
No, don't do that. Cut that out.
I am recording, so you need
Edit it out.
you need to go if you don't want that in there. Okay. It was 6:30 a.m. and there were 2 buses parked in front of Deborah Reed Middle School. A big shiny Agnatow company coach with individual padded chairs, built-in television screens, and the electrical outlets in every row. And parked right in front of it, the Farm Kids minibus, which was short, yellow, and old, with duct tape patched benches and windows that could only open 3 inches. We have to get on the company bus, Jay Carpenter said to Nick Gross. And we have to make sure that we're sitting near the front so we can control the DVD player. His eyes were shining with anticipation. I brought DVDs. Nick was tired and cold, and it was too early in the morning to deal with his best friend's delusions. Like they're going to let you play your DVDs. No one is going to want to watch a movie. They're going to be doing test prep stuff. Nick was nervous about the upcoming statewide exam. It was a big one. Not that Jay cared. He had always been a good tester, whatever that meant. "Oh, ye of little faith," Jay exclaimed, entirely too loud for the hour and setting. Jay might have been better at academics, but Nick was sure that he was smarter because he'd never exclaimed, "Oh, ye of little faith," in a high-pitched voice in front of, well, anyone. but certainly not in front of the members of the opposite sex who were milling around in their own pre-field trip cliques. Not that any of them would ever notice Nick. So here's a zoom in. I'll do a zoom in for you guys. But still, it was better not to start the day on a deficit by acting like a huge socially awkward nerd. Nick watched as Paul Yoder and Sam Stoltzfus and the rest of the farm kids edged farther away from the little yellow bus that traveled 40 minutes each way to take them to and from school every day. He couldn't blame them for not wanting to spend another 4 hours on it. It's not like I brought my DVDs or classic Doctor Who episodes, Jay continued. I know my audience. Fine, I'll bite. What did you bring? Jay opened his enormous backpack and began rooting through it. It was kind of hard to tell if he had the world's biggest backpack or if it just seemed big because Jay was so scrawny. It was sort of amazing that he could even lift the thing. What do we have in here? Nick asked. Only necessities, my good man, Jay said. Nick shuddered inwardly. He always hated Jay's tendency to talk like he was a character in a movie where guys wore top hats and women wore corsets. And he'd given up trying to change Jay's speech patterns and had instead been trying, unsuccessfully, to get him to lower his volume instead. It was an uphill battle. Jay pulled a DVD case out of his pack. Evil Dead 2, he exclaimed triumphantly. There's no way Miss Zell is going to let you watch Evil Dead 2, Nick said. Why ever not? Jay was indignant. It's a great movie, and Miss Zell is a woman of singular taste and beauty. Nick blushed. Thinking about the science teacher always made him blush. I agree, but there's no but. It is a brilliantly subversive piece of cinema that was created to intentionally mock itself. It's both a sequel and a remake. Who wouldn't love that? Jay's voice was getting higher and louder. It's a horror movie from the 1980s. No one wants to watch that at 7 in the morning. People are going to either be sleeping or studying. Studying, schmuddying, Jay said. Did you know that the Hammer believes that mandatory exams are actually a secret government plot to identify suitable subjects for biological, technical enhancements at your age? Or at a young age? I did not know that because it's crazy. Jay was always quoting his favorite local conspiracy theorist blogger. Don't worry, I think you're safe, Jay said, diving once more into his backpack. Nick wrinkled his brows slightly insulted. Wait, are you saying the government wouldn't want to do experiments on me? Jay ignored him. I have more DVDs. Everyone appreciates options, even those who may not yet have acquired a taste for the high art of camp horror. Nick shook his head and looked at the line that had formed at the door of the Agnatow bus. The farm kids were in front, and even though there was no love lost between them and the company kids, the farm kids were not to be messed with. They were tall and strong and traveled in an intimidating pack. Rumor had it that Paul Yoder could lift an entire bale of hay over his head without breaking a sweat. There was no way they were getting on the bigger bus. Nick knew that even if he and Jay could somehow push their way to the front of the line, they still wouldn't be getting on. Every middle school had an unwritten code, and it was pretty clear about who got to ride on the good bus and who got to ride with a rusty spring poking him in the butt. All right, kids, that's the end of chapter 1. Don't forget to send an email if you have any questions or a noticing or a wondering that you'd like to share. And I'll share with you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.